Hey everyone, welcome to Old Iron Garage. Thank you for tuning in. So in this video, we are going to pick up right where we left off with the Briggs and Stratton 5 horsepower engine. And we will be finishing it up in this video and servicing it and getting it ready to sell. All right, let's dive in. All right, guys, I went ahead and shortened that screw by about 3/8 of an inch. I beveled the end of it to get rid of the boogered up threads from the cut. I used a cut-off wheel on a grinder, and I just wanted to show you this grinder here. This is a Bauer brand grinder from Harbor Freight, though I did not buy it from Harbor Freight. As a matter of fact, I didn't buy this at all. I went to, our neighbors had a garage sale earlier this year. We were there, and they buy out a bunch of storage units. And they had a scrap pile. They had a pile of, scrap stuff and stuff that was trash. And, they know me. So they said that I'm free to look through it and take whatever I want. And I found a bunch of tools and stuff. And this was one of them. So I asked, did you test it? And they're like, no. And so don't really know why they threw it in the scrap pile, other than maybe because it doesn't have the safety feature, it doesn't have the shield. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so I brought it home and it works perfectly fine. So yeah, it did the job, worked great, and I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have a second grinder. I have another corded grinder here that I've had for years. It is a Makita. Works great. Nothing wrong with it. It does have the shield and the T-handle, but it's always nice to have a second grinder. If I'm doing something and I'm going to need a grinder, like let's say a cutoff wheel and a sanding disc, or a cutoff wheel and a grinding stone, it's nice to have two grinders so I don't have to switch back and forth between two different discs. So now we're going to go ahead and check to see how well the this air filter fits that housing. I don't think I ever showed you guys this little utility knife that I carry around in my pocket daily. Solid brass, CNC machined, made in America, made in USA. And you just push down on this and you slide the blade out. It has 3 different places where it locks in. You can see on the back here that screw head drops into those other 2 holes to lock the blade in. Neat little thing. They're not real expensive either. Forget what I paid for it. It might have been a little over $20 on Amazon. The brand says Milspin, M-I-L-S-P-I-N. By the way, none of the brands or stores or anything like Harbor Freight or anything that I mentioned on this channel, I'm not sponsored by any of them. These are not, I'm not sponsored by anybody. It's just, when I like a product, I like to share that. So anyway, this is a new old stock part from a closed dealership. So with the foam element stuff, I always check to see if it's still spongy or if it's crumbling. And this is good. It's still spongy. So but anyways, one other detail about this company, Milspin, is, I think, veteran owned. So yeah, check them out. They've got other stuff too. I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at all their stuff, but I just kind of glanced at the other stuff. Wasn't really interested in buying anything else. I just needed a nice little utility knife to carry daily. So, oh, should probably move the camera. Caffeine. So this, you can see the shape of that. Does not really match that, but this is foam. It will squish. And it's really not too far off. It fits, it drops right down in there just fine. Except the hole is a little bit off. So we are going to we are going to have to do a little bit of trimming to line up that hole. Let me get a Sharpie. And I'm going to mark where the hole is. So now you can see where we have to trim. I'm just going to carefully try to cut that out. Best I can. With my knife. Hey, come on now. See how well I did. Still got a little bit to cut. That don't look too bad. Looks all right. I think that'll work. And if I'm real worried about there being a gap there, which I'm not because it doesn't line up with any hole in the bottom here, I could just put that cutout piece in there to fill in. I might. I don't know. I'm not terrible worried about it. All these holes in the bottom where it lets air in are all covered by foam. So any air going into the engine will be filtered. So now we need some oil. There's some oil in here from my last oil change I did. For my last small engine oil change, so we're going to use that. It is clean oil. We're going to squeeze it out. We're going to fold it over and squeeze it to kind of spread the oil throughout and squeeze out any excess. Okay, this filter is good and oiled, but not too much oil. So now that my hand's all messy, we're going to put the filter in there, put it onto the engine. I might not put it on right away. I might get it to see if it'll start first. That way I can kind of bottle feed the engine if I need to. And then we'll put it on. So this fits down in there real nice. I am gonna go ahead and just put in that cutout on the other side of the hole. Shove my spacer down in. And voila. Fits great. I'm just test fitting. Man, I cannot get enough of this oil off my hands. Throw this stuff away. All right, so we need some fuel in the tank, and I need some fuel in here to use this to put in the cylinder, and if necessary to bottle feed the carburetor. So I'm gonna add fuel off camera, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm ready. All right, everyone, moment of truth. Let's see if this thing will fire up and run. We're going to give it a little bit of help with some fuel directly in the cylinder to get it going. Now we're going to give it a choke, and we're going to see if she'll go. Oh, I just noticed a little problem. There's the spring that goes on the linkage on the carburetor. One of the springs became disconnected. Oh, geez. I just happened to randomly see that. Gonna give that hook on there a little bit of a pinch, so it bends it a little bit further, so it hopefully stays on. All right, that's straightened out. So I put a little fuel directly in the cylinder. I was going to put some in the carburetor, but I'm just going to choke it, and we're going to see what she does. Okay, I'm going to unchoke it. Doesn't want to stay running unless you have it half choked. So we're going to turn that the air fuel screw out 1/2 turn. See what that does for it. Now we're going to choke it. We're going to fire it up again. Take the choke off. Oop, come on. And the kill wire works. Awesome. So now we're going to put this air filter on. I'm going to get this put on. Come on now. There. And we're going to see if we can get the carburetor dialed in. You want to finish adjusting the air-fuel mixture with the air filter on, because the air filter adds restriction to the airflow and will change your airflow. So it'll change your air-fuel mixture. It'll change your air-fuel ratio. Okay, that screw worked out great. So now we're gonna take it off of the kill wire. We're gonna take it off a kill, and we're gonna try and fire it up. See if it fires up without choke. Oh, come on now. There. Oh, yeah! First blow! So I let it run for a while to warm up the oil, warm up the engine, and also, as you've seen on camera, I was cleaning the rust off of the output shaft on the gear reduction. I'm just going to put a little something on there to protect it from rust. And shoot some into that hole. I don't remember if I showed you guys or not, but this shaft does not have a keyway. It's got a little hole here that goes through it. And something is busted off in there. It looks like a spring pin. So I just put some penetrating oil on it, and I'm going to, at a later time, off camera, try to drive that out. Or drill it out, or something. I will probably end up drilling it out. Okay, so the crankcase is good and warm. So now is a good time for an oil change. So I'm going to get set up for an oil change. I got to go get a bucket to drain the oil into, and I will be right back. All right, everyone, time to drain the oil. I have already drained the gear reduction case oil. I did that off camera because there's no drain plug. You have to tip the engine. So I don't know why Briggs and Stratton designed it that way, because most people are not going to take the engine off of the machine it's on or tip the whole machine to change that oil. So I don't know if they just had adding oil from time to time in mind or what. But doesn't matter what the oil goes in, it does wear out. Eventually it loses its lubricating properties. So yes, that oil does need to be changed. Look at that black oil. I mean, it's not terrible dirty, but yeah, it's definitely time to change it. All right, well, I will bring you guys back when it's time to add oil. All right, let's add some oil. So I still have the oil level check plug out here. That's where I drained it from by tipping the engine. So let's go ahead and add it to the gear reduction case first so I don't forget. The gear reduction case gets the same as the engine, straight 30 weight. I don't know exactly how many ounces it takes, but it doesn't look like it takes more than a few ounces. Doesn't take a lot. So I got a paper towel down here to catch anything that runs out. So we're just going to add until I see it coming out. Then I'm going to put the plug back in. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I guess that's more than it needed. A lot more than it needed. Stop! Oh! Jeez. I just made a huge mess. I was like, well, let's just fill the funnel half full, or a little over half full, about 3/4 full, and that should be a good starting point. Well, yeah, I just made a huge mess here. So we're going to have a little cleanup here. It's a nice way to waste some oil. Oh, geez. I didn't think that I had poured enough to fill it, but I guess it takes even less than I thought. Well, now I know. Now that the oil has had time in there to kind of all settle down, I don't know if maybe I poured it in too fast and it kind of ran off of something and went straight to the hole or what. But I am going to double check, now that it's had time to settle to the bottom, that it is actually full. It appears to be full. Come on. Thread in. Alright, so I'm going to put the fill plug back in now. And the gear reduction gear case has been serviced. That is done. Now, we'll do the engine oil. Put a paper towel under there to catch anything that, if it overflows. Seeing I got a drop of oil on that shaft, and since I polished it up, I'm going to rub that around to work as a rust preventative. So now we're going to pour in some engine oil into the crankcase. Now this takes more than a few ounces, so I'm just going to fill up the funnel, let it drain. Each time I do that, I'm going to stop and take a look, and then when it gets to the top, I'll start adding it a little bit more, a little bit less at a time, a little bit more slowly. Okay, I'm going to add it a little bit more slowly now. Got some runs going down the, hey, I forgot to move the camera. Had some runs going down the front of the measuring cup here, so I was just kind of wiping them on the funnel to get them to go down in the funnel. It's taking it. It is almost full. And it is full. Didn't spill too much that time. That's good. We have a little bit more cleanup to do. A little bit more oil is dripping off of the gear reduction case. wipe off my funnel here. I'm going to set this off to the side to put back into my bucket of oil. And we're going to fire this thing up and then check the oil levels. After I put some of this stuff away, all right. Yes, now we're going to fire her up. Let's see if she'll start without the choke. Probably want to move the, there we go. Move the throttle down there so it's not touching the kill wire. Ooh. She tried, but we're going to go ahead and choke it now. Unchoke it. There we go. That's a good running engine. Huh. Well, I didn't mean to kill it, but I mean, I guess that's long enough. All right. So now, let's go ahead, check the oil levels. Yeah. Just use this. First in the gear case, the gear reduction. Yep, I see a little bit of oil coming out. Now the engine oil. Looks good. Aerated, but good. By aerated, I mean full of air bubbles. That's normal. Alright guys, well that's it. I mean, this thing had a lot of little things to address, but the worst thing was the fuel tank by far, then the carburetor. But I mean, other than that, it was just a bunch of little things. I did notice one other thing just a little bit ago while I was off camera. I'm going to have to find a bolt. I found one more missing bolt. That's probably why it's a little bit louder too, but right? You looking right? Here. Can you see it? Right there. There is a missing bolt in the muffler. So, after this video, I will go to my assortment of small engine bolts, and I will find a bolt. And I guess first I'll check to make sure that it is not snapped. There's not one that's snapped off in there. And if there is, I guess I'll address that. I'll deal with that. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this thing is fully sorted, ready to sell. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed working on this engine. I don't know what it is about these old 5-horse horizontal shaft Briggs flatheads, but I really like them. I always enjoyed working on them. So this has been this has been pretty fun for me. Anyways, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and let me know, and make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified of more video uploads in the future, and I will see you on the next one. All right, bye. All right, guys. One last thing I decided to do before I call it quits on this engine for the night is I'm going to try to drive out that broken off spring pin that is in the output shaft of the gear reduction box, or on the gear reduction. So, anyways, the hole's right there. I'm gonna try and drive it out. I got a few different punches here. Here's one that I had to make for an assignment in shop class. I had to make it on a lathe, put that knurled grip on it, and heat treat it. And I'm still using it to this day. Hey, it's moving. Oh. The punch is maxed out in the hole. So I'm going to take this little punch here and tap it on out the rest of the way. There it is. It's out. So that hole is now open and ready to accept, I guess, another spring pin. Alrighty, well, that's that.